everybody, this is Hornlitz here, and welcome back for more Let's Glitch The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we got here to the desert and cleared most of it out before going to Arbiter's Grounds. And in this episode, we are going to be doing the first half of Arbiter's Grounds. But before I do that, as you can see already, I'm actually going back and getting the few things that I missed in the last episode that I was supposed to get. And the reason I wanted to do that now is partially just so that I didn't forget about it, and then have to randomly route it in later, but also because I actually realized that if I go and get them now, I'm not going to mess up any future day-night cycles, because if I tried doing it later, of course, I'd have to go out of my way for this, and that would just waste a lot of in-game time. But if I do it now, it's not going to matter, because pretty soon there's actually going to be like an instance where the time of day is going to be set to something specific, and so it's not going to matter what I do before then. It's not going to, and so by doing that, I'm not going to mess up any day-night cycles later on. So that's just why I wanted to get it now. But anyways, now that I've actually done that, we can head back into Arbiter's Grounds and start the dungeon. So yeah, right off the bat, so this first room actually has a few things in it, or a couple things in it that I can do that are not necessarily intended. What you're supposed to do is there's this like claw shot tile to the left that you're supposed to claw shot onto, that one right there, and then like do a bunch of platforming and get over to a chain that's over there to open the door. But what you can do is you can actually transform into Wolf and then do some bee attacks across the sand, because that will basically prevent Link from actually sinking in the sand. There's unfortunately no way to do that really as human. Another method is you can actually, as human, kind of just roll into the sand here and then like climb up onto this ledge there, and then jump across a couple times, and then actually just walk off the ledge onto the sand there, and then you can actually do a roll off of it, and you won't actually sink into the pit there, which is really nice. It saves a bit of time, saves not having to transform once or twice, and then it's just, plus it also looks kind of cool. But anyways. So now that that's done, we can just continue on. We can get this key right here, which will let us get to the next room. And the next room actually, it has something I want to talk about in it. So basically, there are a couple enemies in this game. One of them is called Stall Children, and the other one is Stalfos, which there are a ton of Stall Children in this room right here. And there's a bit of an interesting thing about them that I noticed. It's been probably like a year or two at this point, but I noticed something about them a while ago, and that is that you'll notice I'm not facing them right now. If I just wait here for all eternity, they are not going to do anything to me. But as soon as I turn around, they start poking at me. So for some reason, for whatever reason, these enemies, the Stall Children and the Stalfos, the ones that you need actual bombs to fully kill, they will not do anything to you if you're not facing them. I don't know why that was the case, but it is. But anyways, that's just a random tidbit of information. But right here, this cutscene. So you'll notice how the door is open right now. That leads to the second half of the dungeon. And the whole gimmick of this dungeon is that right at the start here, you have these 4 Poes come and steal the lights that are keeping the door open. There is, like, no way to prevent the door from closing. You can't, like, walk around the cutscene trigger or do a long jump attack across it, or even, like, hack your way past it. There is literally no way, because the cutscene trigger is, like, the most massive thing in this game. It extends infinitely upwards and downwards and, like, goes all the way back and whatever, so unfortunately there's just, like, no way to get past this door without actually opening the door by killing the Poes. Now, that's not actually entirely true. There is one way to get past the door without killing all of the Poes, and I'll get to that in a second, but before I do that, I actually want to show off one other kind of cool thing, well, after all of these cutscenes are over and everything. But there's one kind of cool thing that I want to show off. But first, actually, before I get to show that off, because the cutscene's still going, right after you kill a Poe, you actually have to sniff the Poe's scent that appears. Otherwise, you actually can't, like, get anywhere in the dungeon. Or at least you're not supposed to be able to. But basically, that's, wherever it is, that dig spot that's over there, you actually can't dig in that spot until you've sniffed the Poe's scent. But anyways, so now that kind of cool thing that I wanted to show off. So a long time ago when I was like first getting into glitching this game, people were looking for a way to skip this door, and one theory was that you could like clip out of bounds and like maybe land on some floor out of bounds and then like walk around it. Unfortunately, there is no actual like floor across like outside of this wall, but there is a way to get out of bounds. So literally, if you actually come into this little corner right here, it's a little finicky, but you can actually like if you do it right here, you can actually like get into the wall a little bit here and like roll in between the pillar here. And then a cool thing you can actually do is if you pull your claw shot out, you can actually claw shot through the wall and get down over here. It's completely pointless. There's no use for it, but it's just kind of cool that you can actually do that. And if you used like a bomb to damage boost yourself at like the exact frame that you need, you could actually like keep yourself out of bounds there, but again, unfortunately, there's no like floor there, so you can't actually walk around the door. But anyways, so now I mentioned earlier that there actually was a way to get past the door. Well, cue the huge tangent. Alright, so in order to explain the glitch that lets you get past the Poe door without getting any of the Poes, I'm going to be using footage from Takarika's low percent speedrun. And thank you, Taka, so much for letting me use this footage, because actually grabbing this footage myself would have been really annoying. Because yeah, this glitch is honestly one of the worst glitches in the game. Like, it's a really cool glitch, but you'll see what I mean when we actually get into it. So first off, he's grabbing this pot because this pot has a consistent blue rupee in it, which will be important for the glitch. And this glitch that I've been mentioning is actually a glitch that I have already done before in this series. I just didn't mention it. And actually, anybody who has done this, like played this game casually, has presumably done this glitch. And that is because this glitch is just so insanely easy. Literally, this is the glitch. Literally picking up money is a glitch. Okay, not exactly, but basically getting into this animation where Link is holding his hands forward is a glitch. And the reason for that is because the animation, Link kind of like wobbles back and forth while he's in this animation. That animation is actually incomplete. It's missing one frame. And so because the first animation and the first frame of the animation and the last frame, Link is in like a different position at each of those frames, in order to prevent the animation from actually like jumping forward, like for there to be a noticeable like jump in the animation, they basically moved Link's position in order to match up with the position of the last frame. And so as a result, Link moves when this animation is happening. So, and it's an absurdly slow speed. Like, depending on what area you're in, you can get different speeds, but in this specific area, you get like ridiculously slow speeds. And so basically what you need to do is once you get into the rupee animation, or like the holding the rupee animation, you just leave your game on for hours and hours on end, and eventually you will move somewhere. And that doesn't necessarily seem that impressive, except that Link's collision in this animation is altered so that it doesn't check for collision with walls. And so as a result, you can clip through a wall. As you can see, the gate is kind of clipping through Link's shield there, and it's really hard to see him actually moving, but like you can see right there, he just kind of bounced up and down a little bit, and then he moved back a little bit. Yeah, Link is actually inside the gate now, and that's all because of this one frame that's missing in this animation. And now this specific slide took about a little over 13 hours to do, and really any slide you do is going to take multiple hours, so you can see why it's not really viable for any speedruns. But yeah, after you're done with the slide, you can just cancel out of the rupee text and move past the wall or the gate or whatever, and then you're done with the trick. But yeah. Okay, real quick, I actually wanted to mention something about this trick. In the editing, I said that the trick was possible on the Wii and Wii U versions of the game, and that's theoretically true, but there is a bit of a problem with them. Specifically for the Wii version, if you leave the game for 10 minutes, like let it sit and idle for 10 minutes, the Wiimote will actually time out, and the game sort of like pauses or like opens up the home menu or something like that, and so it actually physically pauses the game. So every 9 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, you have to actually like input something on the Wiimote to prevent it from timing out, and it has to be something that does not cancel the rupee text. That's important. But of course, because of that, you'd have to be doing that like every 10 minutes for however many hours the slide takes. So it's really stupid on the Wii version, and nobody's actually tried doing it before as a result. But anyways, the other thing that I wanted to mention about the HD version is that is that any rupee text, so like the blue rupee text or the yellow or whatever, those are the two most common that you'd see. Those actually, they only ever appear once on the HD version. They fixed that, because in the GameCube version and the Wii version, you can get those rupee texts as many times as you want. You just like save and quit, and then start up the game again, and then the texts will reappear. But that doesn't happen on the HD version. So as a result, if you want to do a rupee slide on the HD version, you have to make sure you do not get a rupee of that color, or at the very least, do not get that text to appear until you want to do the slide. Because you can actually, like, as I mentioned, like, way back at the start, you can, like, side hop into money and, like, skip the rupee text. You can get the money that way, but, yeah, you do not want to actually get the rupee text on the HD version if you want to do a slide. Anyways, back to the episode. Alright, so now that that tangent is over, I'm just gonna get going with this dungeon. So I already pulled that thing. Is that like clipping out of bounds? That's weird. Anyways, so yeah, pulling that chain drops down, or drops these stairs right here, and then I can go down here. This leads to the second Poe that I'm supposed to get. So right here, I'm just supposed to push this this thing once in this direction, and that'll open up. Ooh, that guy actually hit me. Anyways, that'll open up this thing. Now these are. Can you transform? Okay, Link, what is more important? Transforming so that you don't get destroyed by this guy, or picking up a pot with probably nothing in it? Anyways, so yeah, that guy's dead now. Anyways, so I need to open up this chest so that I have a small key for a little bit later. Actually, I'm curious what's in this pot now. Yep, there's literally nothing in that pot. Anyways, so there are some red rupees. There's a red rupee right there. I don't actually think I'm gonna need the red rupee, but I'll probably be getting a few anyways. Every single Redead that you kill in like the entire game, pretty much, except for in the Cave of Ordeals, will always drop a red rupee. So that's a pretty consistent way of getting some easy cash. Anyways. Now right here, you actually, for this second Poe, you really want to deal with those guys because they will get in the way of using a B attack, or like the charge attack. So it's... Okay, that was weird. But yeah, you really want to deal with those guys. But anyways, now we have the second Poe, and we can start getting somewhere. And actually, okay, hold on. That actually reminded me of something I can talk about. Right there, you'll notice how it said, you collected 20 Poes. That's a lie. I actually haven't. I've collected 21 Poes. And no, that's not a mistake on the devs that that text appears on collecting the 21st. It actually normally appears on the 20th Poe, like you would expect it to. But for some reason, on these Poes in particular, in this dungeon, that doesn't happen. For some reason, it delays it. I have no idea why it is. But yeah, it for some reason delays the text to one Poe later. Maybe it might have something to do with like the cutscene that plays after you kill a Poe here, but like for some reason that just happens. It's just a weird thing, and it actually kind of messed me up the first time I saw that, because I'm like, wait, did I miss a Poe, or did I like get an extra or something? Yeah, I wasn't sure. But anyways, so now that that's done, we get to do another glitch. And this glitch is really annoying. That's kind of a common theme for glitches in this dungeon especially. But anyways, so right off the bat, I actually am going to be dealing with these guys, because these mold orms will get in the way if I let them. So yeah, but basically, so actually, this area right now, I'm actually not really supposed to be able to go anywhere in this area. You'll see that block that's like just by my hearts over there on the heads up display. That's actually blocking this path over here. I'm not supposed to be able to get that way. And then obviously, as you can see, there's like no other place for me to go. And so instead, I'm actually supposed to go back on like the main floor off to the other side of like the other wing of the dungeon. But there's actually a way to get past all of this. So literally, this is a bit of a weird method, but this is called Poe skip. So the reason this is called Poe skip is actually because that first Poe that I grabbed, this trick lets you skip getting that Poe. Because one thing that I didn't mention about that, the door that the Poes close, is that it actually only checks for Poes 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't actually bother checking for the first Poe, because there's theoretically no way out of the first room without getting that Poe. So they didn't bother with that. But yeah, so... there's actually a way to, using this trick, you can actually skip the first Poe in a timely manner as well. But basically, so what we're going to be doing is, actually need this for this. this pillar is a little bit weird, so you'll notice I'm sliding down it. There's this little like area that you can sort of stand on in this corner, and basically by walking up into it, I'm kind of like trying to angle myself. It's really hard, and this is honestly a really precise and dumb trick. But I'm trying to like position myself at a certain spot, and then once I get into the right position, I kind of want to angle the boomerang at like a specific angle. I don't really have time to explain it because I am sinking in the quicksand while I'm doing this, and so I don't really have time to stop and show you guys. But yeah, it's like you have a little bit of time to aim, and then once you do that, you can turn around and backflip onto the pillar, and then if you do it right, which I have no idea if I'm doing any of this right. Okay, that was very close. You'll notice that I jump off and I almost grabbed onto that ledge. With the right positioning and everything, you actually can grab onto that ledge. And that lets you completely skip like a decent portion of the first half of the, or like it lets you skip the first Poe. And as a result, it also lets you take a backwards route through this first half of the dungeon, which is pretty nice. But hopefully I can get this, because, yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that is Poe Skip, and it's honestly a really dumb trick. But anyways, now that after that's done, you can actually just throw the boomerang over here and do a boomerang long jump attack and get over there. There isn't really any other way around that, because normally what you're supposed to do is like pull a chain to make the chandelier rise, and then use the chandelier as an extra bit of distance to get over there. But we can just use the boomerang. Now right here, oh yes, of course I need the ball and chain. I was panicking for a second because I didn't see bombs, but no, you can just use the ball and chain on this guy, and it destroys him. But yeah, that's the other enemy. That's the Stalfos. It's not going to attack you if you're not facing it. But anyways, so now we're into this room. And this room, okay, I just want to complain about this room a little bit. I don't know if there's any way for you to, like, figure this out without trial and error, but there are 6 lanterns here, and if you light the wrong ones, it'll, like, drop a bunch of enemies or something like that. I'm actually not entirely sure what lighting the wrong ones do, because I haven't done it in years, but yeah, if you light these 2 specific torches, the door opens, and I'm not sure how you're supposed to figure that out unless it's just with trial and error, in which case that's not good game design. But anyways, so now that that's all over, I'm going to go into this next room, and this is kind of proof of the sequence breaking of the dungeon, because this is actually the 4th Poe that you're supposed to do. As you'll notice, it sort of like starts this cutscene and it splits into 4, just like the Poe from Ocarina of Time does. This is supposed to be like the final boss Poe, but this is the 3rd Poe that I've gotten that I'm getting in this dungeon. So like you can see, I'm doing it out of order. And now, basically any of the 4 of these can actually do this, but if you do the right movement right after you do the first hit on the Poe, you can actually get like there's like a consistent way you can actually get the Poe to like start spinning around you immediately. Because these Poes are kind of random, they can like choose to spin around you as long as they want, and actually before they start spinning around you, they can choose to like stare at you and move closer to you as long as they want, really. And so the fact that there's a consistent method of actually getting them to spin around you really quickly is really nice. It ends up saving like a lot of potential time. But anyways, so now that we've done that, normally because that was the 4th Poe, you would just kind of like go back into that bottom door over there. But because that was only the 3rd Poe that we got, and we still need Poe 3 to actually open the door, I actually want to jump onto this onto the chandelier here, and then jump over here. And then because normally, like if this were the any % speedrun, you would actually like push that block and then go back and get Poe 2 right now, because you would actually go and get Poe 4 first. But of course, because I already got Poe 2 and everything, I don't need to bother pushing that block. And so now I can come out here and get this right here. Have this cutscene play, and we can go and get the 3rd Poe. And again, we're going through this dungeon backwards. You'll notice this door has nothing on it, but it's actually a key door. I actually just opened the key door from behind, and that's actually weird that you can do that. You'll see I used my key there. It's kind of weird that actually works that way. And it's actually kind of funny because there are other doors that you can open backwards. There's actually one in particular that I'm thinking of, that if you open it backwards, it actually soft locks the game. So it's kind of weird that some doors it works on and others it doesn't, but fortunately for that one, it does work. Now right here, another interesting thing about Re-Dead Knights, is that they actually aren't going to notice you unless you go in front of them. It's kind of similar to how these guys will only attack you if you're facing them or whatever. Yeah, for some reason, that's just how it is. And so, literally, actually, because of that, we don't even need to worry about the second Re-Dead Knight there. We're never even going to, like, activate that guy. But this guy we do need to kill, unfortunately. But fortunately, I can just collect the 20 rupees from that, and now I'm at full rupees, which is great. But anyways, then we can just dig here and pull this chain. And yeah, so we really just don't need to worry about that guy. Even though we're like kind of going close to the front of the Re-Dead, like it doesn't matter. You need to be like right in front of it for it to activate. If I can actually do this, there we go. Okay, so now, there we go. Okay, and then one more hit and then this guy's down and don't hit, come on. For some reason, doing a spin attack is not really a good method of attacking these guys, I guess. It doesn't always hit them. But anyways, so with that, now finally we have all of the pose, and I just need to go back into the main room, and then we can head on to the second half of the dungeon, finally. So yeah, that's pretty great. And actually, because we're just... Actually, hold on. Instead of... I was gonna do a cut, but I changed my mind because actually this room, because we were supposed to go through it, like the way I'm going right now was supposed to be forwards, that door would normally be locked, and you're supposed to get that chest which has a key in it. But because I opened the door backwards and opened it with a different key than intended, I actually don't have to get that key chest. And the important thing about that is that once you open that key chest, this room, like, the lights go out and there are a bunch of ghoul rats that spawn, which basically they, like, latch onto you and you can only see them with sense and they, like, slow you down and it's really stupid. But yeah, by doing this area backwards, you can actually skip even triggering that, so that's pretty nice. But anyways, so now that we're back in this main room, the door will finally open and we can get through it in faster than 15 hours. But anyways, so yeah, now that that's done, we can just get on with our lives. And right off the bat, once we get into this second area, already there's going to be another glitch that I can do. And this one is... I almost hesitate to call it a glitch just based on how easy it is. So, if these guys can get out of the way. Right there, that is the boss key chest. And you're supposed to go, actually, the other direction. You're supposed to go in that door over there, and then, like, go on this big, like, roundabout in order to come back here and get that. But you can actually get across this pit as both wolf and human. I'm gonna show you the wolf method because it's a lot easier. But yeah, so, or at least that's the method that I know. But you can literally just jump into here and then do a couple B attacks. You kind of have to do it at the right position and angle, but you can kind of just clip through it and then literally just climb up here. And you have officially just skipped like half of the dungeon. Or like the other half. We do unfortunately still have to go into this second half here and get the item of the dungeon, the spinner. But yeah, it's really nice that you can actually do this backwards, especially because these rooms are annoying. Like this right here is actually kind of difficult. You're supposed to use the spinner to like bounce back and forth and avoid those blade traps, but it's actually kind of difficult. But anyways, so now that that's done, we actually want to jump down into this little area right here because there is a chest over here that has a heart piece in it, and we can just avoid that Stealthos right there. We don't need to bother killing him. And now it's actually kind of funny. I actually lost an any % run once to actually falling down into here. I realized later that there actually was a way of getting out without certain things, but like you can actually just kind of like come over to here and like what was it? You can do something like that and actually get over. But there's a much easier method if you have the third hidden skill. You can literally just do this and get over. But if you don't, it actually is like kind of difficult to get out. But anyways, that's just a random little thing there. So now that we've done that, we can just come into this room and... oh, right, so this is the room right before the mini-boss that gives us the spinner. And yeah, right here you can also see doing B attacks does prevent you from actually sinking down into the sand, which is really nice. Now right here, oh right, because I don't have bombs, I need to actually kill these guys with the ball and chain. I was trying to get a roll there, but... yeah, so these guys are... They go down really easy, especially with the ball and chain. And right there, come on, there we go. yeah, so it's a little annoying killing those guys sometimes because the ball and chain hitbox is a little weird. But yeah, you can just do that. And there actually is a pretty fast method if you have bombs. You can kind of just like drop a couple bombs early and then run over to this door before it even opens. And then when the bombs explode, the door will open because it just kills the Stalfos. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Right here, you can actually just claw shot that target from like over standing on that beginning platform and just get over here really quickly, which is really nice because it avoids all of these things. I don't even know what they're called, but they're annoying. I always remember this little path right here was really annoying casually just because of those guys. But anyways, now I can just come over here and get over this way and enter the door to the mini-boss. Now, the mini-boss of this dungeon is kind of annoying. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but there occasionally some weird things can happen, and it can like take, like basically, it's kind of hard to explain without showing it, and I'm not going to really be able to show it, but basically, so this guy is just like a little, I don't even know what to call this. Can you grab on, please? Thank you. But yeah, so basically, sometimes during the second phase, he can like, once you like hit him, he can actually like start like flying up, way high up into the air, and like you can't even reach him, and it's really weird. But anyways, now right here, I actually kind of want to show something weird about this mini boss. Hopefully this is actually doing it. You'll notice how he's not doing anything, and I'm just attacking here. As soon as I stop, he gets up. So literally, for some reason, if you just keep attacking while the mid-boss is like down, the mid-boss doesn't do anything. It's just gonna stay there. And I'm not actually sure why that works. But yeah, like you'll notice if I don't do anything, he just gets up immediately. But if I was attacking, he was just like staying down for a while. So that's just a really weird thing about this mid-boss. But anyways, so now another interesting thing about this mid-boss, which I believe I've gone over this before with like Deku Toad and whatnot, if you actually just never do a combo finisher on this guy, he just never stands up. And you can literally just down him real quickly like that, and yeah, so with that you can basically get a one-cycle fight, and it's pretty quick. But yeah, that's just a really weird, weird mid-boss fight where you can like just attack nothing and he stays down. It's a really weird thing. But yeah, anyways, with that done, we can go and get the spinner, and that will be the end of the episode once I actually get that. Okay, and real quick, one more thing. I don't know why I forgot to talk about this, but there is actually a way to skip the Death Sword fight. So basically what you need to do is you kind of, once you finish the first phase where he's like invisible, you need to go into a corner right by the door that leads to the spinner chest, and then you need to like wait for him to like come around and actually like, well, you need to hit him and then go to that spot. And then he'll like fly around and like land right near you. And provided he lands in the right spot, you can transform into Wolf, use a mid-to-charge attack on him, and then sort of like walk away sort of back towards the middle of the room, and then release the mid-to-charge attack when he goes up to like the very top of the... or like when he goes up to start flying around again. And if it's in the right position and you release at the right time, you can do this big jump up and actually land on the platform that's like above the door that you're supposed to come back through. So you can actually just completely skip the fight that way. But it is insanely precise. I think I heard somewhere that it's like frame perfect and like really precise position or something like that. So yeah, it's really stupid and nobody goes for it in runs, but it is possible to do. So I'll just go and get that in that chest over there. But yeah, so that'll be the end. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click the like button. If you didn't, fine, click the dislike button. Follow me on all the links in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!